Hi, I'm Steven with AlbertaUrbanGarden.ca. Welcome to my indoor garden. On today's episode, we're going to take a look at the progress of the hot peppers that we've started and how the pruning is going. So we have the unpruned one here and the pruned one here, and they're quite a bit different. We're also going to up-pot these today because this little guy's starting to get root bound, and we want to provide it the space it needs to become a nice big pepper bush. So I figured, hey, we've been blessed with a whole bunch of snow this year, and it's everywhere in my yard. I'm trying to find places to get rid of it, so why not use it for watering? I mean, it's the same as using rainwater, I figure. So I brought in a bucket of snow, I let this melt, there's no chlorine in here, and I can use it to water my plants free of charge. I'll let you know how that goes. So come on in closer. We're going to take a look at the pepper plants and how they've varied from the one that we've pruned to the one that we have not pruned. And I think you'll be quite impressed. So this is the plant that we pruned, and this is the plant that we didn't. On the right hand side is the one that we pruned, and as you'll notice, we clipped right here and we got two main stalks coming off, and they're doing very, very well. You'll notice that there are some flower buds starting, which means it's almost ready to go through its second round of pruning, where we clip back these two and allow them to continue to bush up. On the left here is the one that we did not prune. You notice it's about the same height. The plant is actually a little bit taller, but it's a little bit bushier on top, and if that gets a lot of fruit on it, it's going to be very, very top heavy and require a lot of pruning. I just figured it was kind of interesting to see the comparison here. So you notice that this stalk is actually getting a heck of a lot thicker. And that's a really good thing because we get terrible winds here in Alberta, and if you've got a thin stalk like this and all the fruit so high up, you might end up with the plant breaking or falling over. Whereas this plant is going to be much closer to the ground and able to handle all the fruit because it's on a better base. So I'd like to show you the roots, and I know it's time to repot this. When you can see the roots are starting to tangle around. You can see the white roots, and they're starting to go around the bottom. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to repot this into a bigger pot and rejig my entire grow up to make sure that this has got the best space. Unfortunately, the one that I did not prune, I think it's time for it to go because I'm not sure I'll have space in here. So we'll get the two that are pruned, repotted, and we'll come back. So we've up-potted them. I pre-soaked the soil so that it didn't do any funny settling. These do look quite dwarfed in here, but I'm sure these pots will be big enough for the plant to grow nicely and to basically stay in here for the rest of their lives, which will go right through to the end of 2014 growing season. So in a couple of days I'll come back and we'll do the pruning once these have had time to settle in, and we'll continue to try to build our pepper bushes. So we've just jumped into the future a few weeks, and you'll notice that the plant isn't tall enough to prune again, but it's putting on tons of flowers. So as the flowers get large enough and easy enough to prune, what I'll do is I'll actually come in and just snip them off. That'll force the plant to put its power into growing vegetative growth instead of fruiting bodies, and we'll hopefully be able to prune this one or two more times before spring. This is January 11th. It's time to do the third pruning on these pepper bushes. What they're trying to do now is to flower. I have been successful at actually growing peppers indoors underneath my grow light system, but that's not the point of this particular experiment. We're going to try to see how big and how good we can get these plants before we ship them outside. So why don't you come in closer and we'll show you what we've got to do now. So as you can see here, we've got a bloomed flower. Now peppers are self-fertile, which means this little flower will put off pollen and grow itself. So we just want to restrict that. And the reason why we want to actually pluck these little guys is to make sure that we're not putting a lot of energy into flowering when we want the plant to be putting in growth. So you'll notice on the inside we have plenty of new shoots starting to grow. We're just going to start clipping them. The leaves themselves will be fine, but any new shoots we'll take out. So you'll notice after the last pruning, this guy, this guy, this guy, and a couple of others have sprouted up. And I know this looks brutal, but pretty well anything that's pointing in, we're going to take out. That way we've got the best possible chance of successful growth. Now there's a little bit of just kind of ballpark in here, but for the most part you just want to leave at least one nodule below your pruning point. So here they are. I've cleared out the underbrush. I've done some pruning and some flower picking. Hopefully that means we'll get them to grow vertically a little bit more, and then I'll start pruning them vertically again to bring that base nice and solid on the bottom and to allow for a good lush growth. Here we are a couple weeks later. You'll notice that we're getting flowers and little peppers starting. Again, same indication, we need to clean this up. We've gotten a lot of green growth on here. So what we just want to do is we want to make sure that all the flowers are gone and that we're selecting areas to prune from that that'll make sure that the plant stays low and splays out as opposed to in. You'll notice I've got my handy dandy Alberta Urban Garden clippers. So if someone hasn't one already, these are the pruners here. They're awesome. We've just got a little leather strap on the back here, easy to use, very, very sharp. Actually, I'm noticing here that these are splaying out themselves, so I'll bring you in closer and I'll show you this particular plant. So in my experience, about half of the peppers that you grow will split naturally. This is a natural split. I have not pruned it at all here, but what it's done is it's split. It's actually continued to split above. I'm not sure why it's started to do this growing pattern, but I'm going to continue to take the flowers off and make sure that it's focusing on green growth. And where appropriate, I will prune this, but it doesn't look like, it's starting to look like, and let me scroll up here, it's doing it itself. You'll notice one split here, another split here, up here. Maybe I've actually achieved my pepper bush. Anyone that's splitting towards the center, I may lop off, just so that we end up with a nice bushy area in here. So you want it to focus on the growth inside. You can get, even underneath my little shop lights, not expensive lights, not halogen, not very high wattage, but you can get fruit production, but it just takes away from the plant. It weakens the plant significantly. And since we're trying to prepare this for outdoor growth, what we're really going to try to do is to limit its fruiting and to increase the amount and size of the plant overall. So I'll finish this up and show you the end product. So I've got you in close here. And the reason why I have you in close is because I wanted to show you this. This branch is heading towards the inside of the plant. You'll notice the leaves there, right in the corner, right in the elbow there. That will shoot another one. So it's not great to have this one moving in towards the center of the plant. The other one looks like it's positioned just a little bit better. So what we'll do is we'll take this off and we'll select for the one that's in a better orientation. So I've had to continue to clean out the center Y. This is where I originally chopped off and allowed the two main stems on the right and the left to grow out. The plant continues to want to grow new shoots here, but they'll be shaded by the rest of the plant. So what we're going to do is continue to clean that out and to make sure that we continue to maintain just the two shoots. So it looks like from now on, the plant is going to continue to fork out by itself, and that might be due to the fact that I continue to remove the blooms and it wants to continue to grow its foliage, and it's splitting itself. And I'm not sure exactly why, and if you happen to know why it has started to fork out itself, please let me know. I've noticed some of my peppers immediately started forking without any pruning. This one seemed not to do that until I started pruning it and removing the flowers. If you do know why, let me know, but I'm going to continue to preferentially choose directions of growth so that I can keep this nice and low to the ground, a good thick stalk, and we have the best chance of producing fruit in the summer. Thank you very much for joining me. I appreciate it very much. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe.